Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to another reaction, and guess what? We're doing another odd header video. It's been a little while since I've done odd header, and I saw this in my suggestions actually. So I was just like, ooh la la, yum yum. Yum yum. This is strangest cut content found in video games. And we got Bully, our boy Jimmy Hopkins, in here, which I actually really want to replay. I would love if they did a, well, would I love if they did a remaster? I don't know, actually. Considering how bad the GTA trilogy did. Not that Rockstar really did anything with that. They handed it off to some iPhone people. Anyway, so this is strangest cut content. So let's get to it. Link in the description. Of course, this came out about like what, a week and a half, yeah, about 12 days ago. And I just thought, why not? We haven't watched an odd hair video in a little while, so anyway, I don't know why the hell that was at 480. Let's go. Link in the description. 3, 2, 1, play.
Sometimes you find something in video games that should never been seen by anyone, nor should it ever be seen again.
Of course.
This is why today we're diving into the strangest
World of Tanks.
content from
World of
video
Tanks.
games that
World
we're
of
never
Tanks.
supposed to find. Brought to you by World of Tanks. New players can download and register for free right now using my link down below.
I use my big brain.
250k credits, a premium medium tank Cromwell,
I use my brain.
tanks for 10 bells each, and 7 days premium access right now. World of Tanks
what is this, a Russian Badger video? He loves the World of Tanks.
Online multiplayer game that keeps the action
World of
fresh and exciting with over 800 kinds of tanks and over 40 massive battlefields with tons of players as you blow each other to pieces in every direction.
It's so weird. I don't hear.
I
mean, I don't keep up with, communities that obviously I don't, I'm not part of, but it's just so weird. Like, the only time I ever hear about World of Tanks is from sponsors and the other thing, the Russian Badger videos. That's it.
To register for free using my link down below.
Or even like Raid Shadow Legends. Like, I've known somebody in my life that played Raid Shadow Legends,
only available for new registered
which is crazy.
Marvel
Played.
2. Thanks to CLK, Jack St. Wolf.
That game came out recently.
For spinning this mystery through the Odd Header Discord and Reddit. Spider-Man 2 released at the end of 2023 as the third entry in Insomniac's Web Center series, quickly becoming the best-selling PlayStation 5 game ever. With its success, fans have been
I guess that makes sense.
Hungry for any news about DLC of the game or any of Insomniac's
stupid-ass Mary Jane
upcoming projects.
Better than the original.
Going as far as leaking the studio's data to reveal all of their upcoming games, including an early build of a Wolverine game. However, a discovery was also found in Spider-Man 2 4 days after it released that also seemed to reveal more about Insomniac's future plans than they were intending. In the game,
really?
CLK Zins on Reddit managed to get out of bounds using a glitch.
Was this the Daredevil one, or?
Sure enough,
I heard
by
about
crawling up a sewer pipe, they found what appears to be the villain Kraven's lair. CLK Zins wasn't able to get inside the lair. However, Norway Duck was able to get a closer look with a glitch utilizing their web line, which put them right smack dab in the middle of Kraven's crib, complete with spikes all around the room and a throne surrounded by skulls.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Head trophies on the wall.
Okay, I saw this in a T5G video. I just didn't, I don't think I saw any of the lead up to it.
One of which appears to be the Spider-Man character Rhino, and 3 smaller heads which players believe may be Shocker, Vulture, and Scorpion.
That's fucking weird.
Strangely, while the other characters are in the game, Rhino never actually appears in Spider-Man 2, meaning why he appears out of
Which is strange, too. You think Kraven would definitely go after that big motherfucker.
Is a complete mystery, although from the look of things, he was originally going to die and be made into a trophy, which some have speculated was changed as Insomniac possibly decided to have Rhino return in a later installment.
No, it's, you know what? It's because this is my problem with Insomniac. I feel like a lot of their, especially their humor, but a lot of their stuff is very, like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say childish, but there's like, I almost feel like there's never any stakes to anything. Like, I don't know, like, even early Ratchet and Clank games had, like, more risque humor than, like, I don't know. I feel like they were probably like, someone made that and everybody else in Insomniac was like, that's way too brutal, you know? I mean, to be fair, Spider-Man 2 at times gets a little brutal, but then like, things just kind of wrap up in a way that I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of problems with Spider-Man 2. Pretty much everything non-involving story I think is great. Even though, no, that's not true. The mission variety in the side stuff is not great.
Insomniac seemingly caught word of this, as just a couple weeks later, Norway Duck sent me a message saying they issued a patch that made it impossible to clip out of bounds by the
I'll just say, Redfall is dog shit, by the way. And just throw that out there before someone calls me a fucking Xbox fanboy, because I dare criticize a PS5 exclusive. I swear if this wasn't exclusive to PS5, people wouldn't be fucking sucking its dick as much. But
It previously got into the Craven room.
if this was called Spider Guy, it had nothing to do with Spider-Man.
Luckily, Norway Doc found another spot to clip under the map and reached the Craven room. Oh, now it's gone. Well,
What?
so much for that. Hide it all you can, but we can't unsee what we just saw. Grand Theft Auto 3.
Pussies.
Thanks to f***ing Reese for cementing this mystery on oddheader.com.
Sorry, what was his name?
2001's Grand Theft Auto 3 is one of the most influential
Should
games
I
of
put a
all
bleep
time,
there?
being the first 3 games in the
I could
series
fit a
and
lot of
revolutionizing
words in
the
there.
overall concept. Despite this, many changes were made in the game leading up to release, though one change has left some fans completely scratching their heads. YouTuber Vadim M reports that in the PlayStation 2 strategy guide by Brady Games, there's a pre-release screenshot from the game in the Staunton Island area that contains a strange object. While we can't fully
what the
see
fuck?
the object
On
from
the
this
left, yeah,
image,
what the
there
hell?
appears to be a
Looks like a
giant
statue.
head attempting the photo bomb.
Oh, I know, it is a
Now,
head.
Why is that there? An image of the full object can be seen more clearly in issue 69 of Power Station magazine.
What?
And what the?
What
the
the
caption for
fuck?
The image says that the screenshot is part of the mission.
It is a
Espresso
statue,
to
though.
Go. However, in the final game, the creepy face doesn't appear anywhere during the mission or at all. Strangely, the screenshot in the Power Station guide was actually published a few months after the game came out, suggesting it possibly came from a press build that still had this thing in it.
What?
And also that Rockstar likely came very close to leaving this in the actual game. I'm not sure why they would have even dedicated effort to such a change so late in development.
Or whoever published this, it was fucking with people.
But honestly, I'm glad they removed it.
Why?
Now that's an odd head.
Oh.
Pokemon Red and Blue. Red and
get
Blue
you.
released in
It's like the name of the
1998
YouTube
for the Game Boy
channel.
as
I
the
get you.
first Pokemon games released outside of Japan. In the game, you
Slippy.
meet Professor Oak, a former
That's a good name.
Pokemon trainer who gives you your first Pokemon and sends you on your quest to catch them all, helping you
I
evolve.
always thought, like, is it just me, or is Professor Oak look really angry? Even as a kid, because it looks like he has, like, the eyebrows going like this, you know? Like, so he looks fucking really pissed. I think it's supposed to be his brow making that, but it looks like he's fucking really pissed.
Seems like a pretty nice dude, right? Not according to evidence still left in the game that shows that may have not have always been the case. In the files of the game is data for a final boss battle with Professor Oak, which players believe would have taken place at the very end of the game after you become champion, based on the high stats of Oak's Pokemon. The battle never occurs in the official game.
What the fuck?
Players found a way to activate it using either a glitch or the cheat code 01E2D8CF with a Game Shark. This replaces the trainer you're
That and Missing No, bro.
talking to with Professor Oak.
Shout out to
You can
Missing
then
No,
have
my
an
favorite
epic showdown
Pokemon.
with. Why players were originally supposed to battle Professor Oak is still unknown, as there isn't any dialogue for the battle in the data. However, we may have an idea based on
You think you're a Pokemon master? Guess who fucking started you? Remember me?
game, such as a
He gets
message
jealous
from
because he became Pokemon master, and Professor Oak's like, fuck. I started you, remember this?
saying that he was once the champion before becoming your professor, or that he has the hots for your mom, as it became a running gag among fans of the Pokemon TV series that Professor Oak may have sent
he's
out
gonna give her some Oak.
out to catch all the Pokemon just so he could get closer to his mom, as Oak is
I'm
frequently
gonna give her the poke, the Oak poke.
hanging out with Delia Ketchum, though it does often seem like they're doing a lot more than just hanging out.
How come you two are here?
We'll explain that later. Which is why the game developers may have originally
When
planned
you're
for
older.
players to fight him at the end of Red and Blue, as the player character's mom does appear in the game, and is the one that tells you Professor Oak is looking for you. Oh, hell no. Did Professor Oak get it on with my mom?
Yes.
Yeah, this dude's going down.
On your mom.
Dark Souls 3. Thanks to Woofy for submitting this through the Oddheader Discord. Dark Souls 3 is the final installment in From Software's action RPG series.
That's crazy, right? Because people still like consider these Dark Souls games, but they haven't made a Dark Souls game in 8 years.
PS4, Xbox One, and Windows. The game was the fastest-selling title from Bandai Namco, until it was later beat by its successor Elden Ring. And like Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3 holds many secrets and cut content. In Dark Souls 3, the player fights the boss Osiris, who talks to his child Ocelot, who he cradles in his arms and says he will not give him up because Ocelot is all that he has. Except he can't even be seen here, so it's left up to the player to interpret whether Osiris is holding an invisible child, or maybe if Osiris has gone mad and there's no child
That
there.
thing's going mad? No way. No, impossible.
Fight,
Look at it. He
Osiris
looks so
proceeds
sane.
to call out to Ocelot and
Look
ask
at him.
him to show himself, which never actually happens. I'm starting to think Osiris lied about having a kid for the tax benefits. However, you can still hear the baby crying throughout the boss fight, which honestly is pretty creepy. baby. Yet hacker Lance McDonald found cut content in the data of the game that would have made this scene even creepier. In the data, Lance found the alpha version of the fight with Osiris, which is what this part of the game would have
dinosaur.
looked like.
It's the baby dinosaur from the dinosaur show. I'm the baby! Oh, fuck.
Software sent the game to playtesters. Swapping the alpha model of Osiris into the final game, Lance shows that Ocelot does indeed exist, and is an infant in Osiris's arms.
Oh.
Osiris continues to hold the baby throughout the fight until... So much for not letting anyone take Ocelot away from him. I think I can see why this ended up removed. While that at least solves the mystery of why this content was cut, it still doesn't explain whether Ocelot was completely removed from the final game, or if Osiris is still holding an invisible Ocelot. Though after...
I don't... Why? It looked like his son... Oh.
After seeing this, I really hope he was removed. WWF.
Maybe that baby deserved it. You don't know.
Thanks to Mr. Zombie.
Omen shit. Oh my god, this is the... I love this era of wrestling games. I love it. Look at this right now. Most people go, ew. I go, yeah. Yo, Thrasher was Moss. God damn it, can't say his name.
In our Discord and in the comments of my latest video. WWF Warzone released in 1998 for the PlayStation, N64, and Game Boy. Back before WWE was forced to change their name to avoid confusion with the World Wildlife Fund, as they wouldn't want anyone to think that they were actually wrestling pandas. Warzone is finally remembered by fans as the first 3D wrestling game based
I love that classic Undertaker look.
Also the first to accurately simulate a real-life wrestling match and allow players to create their own wrestlers from scratch. Although what may be the most interesting character in the game was hidden from players and was only uncovered in December 2023, 25 years after the release of the game. Over the years, developers had mentioned in interviews that a secret pasta mode was somehow hidden in the game, and that would land many people at publisher Acclaim in big trouble if players ever found it. Guess they weren't allowed to eat too many carbs over at Acclaim, which sounds like they were pretty much asking players to find it, but hardly anything was known about the pasta mode, except that it was mentioned on a cheat list that can be seen using a Game Shark. That is until last month, when Automata on my Discord server decided to take a look through the data of the game to see if they could find anything. Automata was able to confirm that both the PS1 and the N64 versions of the game contained pasta mode, although nothing seemed to happen when they activated it. At that point, they used the PSXP Rev file extractor to scan the files of the PlayStation game, and sure enough, they found the textures of a woman, past the point of wearing clothes. Automata also found that the textures fit a female character model in the game.
Well, she's wearing clothes, though. Lies. Another Tomb Raider nude fucking cheat code lie bullshit.
And Pamela, the character who can be unlocked in the PlayStation version
past the point of clothes.
Game Shark, or in the N64 version by winning the WWF title as the character Sue, is reportedly based on an employee of the developer Iguana West, also named Pamela. Though considering when this game came out, Automata believes it's possible the character is actually based on Pamela Anderson, which
that makes sense.
It's the case, no matter which Pamela it is. That would certainly explain why the developers said pasta mode could get them into some serious trouble. If the original pasta mode can still somehow be accessed, or if it was completely removed from the game, is still unknown. However, the biggest mystery remains. What?
Looking at Mankind.
It was completely removed from the game.
With that texture, he looks terrifying.
Is still unknown.
Look at that crowd. That's a good crowd, by the way. I like how you can see the cut where it just like repeats right there too. Like right there, it just starts repeating again.
The biggest mystery remains. What does any of this have to do with pasta?
I think when you said a pasta point or clothes or whatever, what the fuck? I think that was probably as good as possible like explanation why it's called pasta.
Alundra is a Japanese RPG released.
Yeah, I always want to play these games. These are hard to get on PS1.
The game follows the silent protagonist Alundra and has the ability to enter people's dreams as he attempts to save residents of a village from nightmares that are killing them. Alundra was ported to North America in 1998 by American publisher Working Designs, who's known for a fair bit of controversy regarding their game translations. While Working Designs brought many Japanese RPGs that otherwise no one would have known about to North America, the publisher also added their own humor and pop culture references to the games, mainly with dialogue from NPCs, which many deemed inappropriate even for the time. It's no surprise.
Okay. I've never heard issues with like the Lunar games and Ark the Lad and stuff like that. So.
Then that Sony stepped in when Alundra was published and made Working Designs cut some of the humor, such as some dialogue for the character Maya. In the final game, after Maya allows you to climb onto her head to reach a ledge, Maya says, "I told you I'd give you a head start," which isn't the worst pun I've
That's pretty good.
heard. However,
I like that.
Working Designs originally had planned for her to say,
"Give you some head." I bet you.
Yes, you're lucky I give good head, lover boy. Most
Knew
girls
it!
ask that you cough up a ring first. Not hard to see why
That's good. I like that.
Sony didn't want that line in the final game. Though that didn't stop some
What's wrong
other
with that? I don't
questionable
get it.
dialogue from making it into Alundra, such as this. The faith
That is like some ghost story shit right there. Oh man,
you
I need to watch Ghost Stories. I've been thinking about it recently. I really need to watch Ghost Stories dub. Oh my god. There's only 20 episodes, so I could probably get through it relatively quickly if I really focus on it.
a little weed is all we need, bro.
Hell yeah,
Well,
bro.
Sony couldn't argue with that one. Crash Bandicoot.
A little
Insane
weed
Trilogy.
is all we
The
need.
Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is a remaster of the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games. Released
Yeah, honestly,
as a PS4
the
exclusive
Crash series just makes so much sense for having weird shit, you know?
in 2017, then
Right.
later released on PC, Switch, and
I was about to say,
Xbox
you better
One.
get the fuck
Players
out of there.
digging around the files of the game noticed some assets that didn't appear in the original
God, I actually want
games,
to play
nor
these
did they
games
seem to
again.
belong in the
I want to play
remastered
Crash 4. I barely played. I played a little bit of it.
edition either. The files include several unused characters that seem to have nothing to do with Crash Bandicoot at all, which are shown here courtesy of hacker and YouTuber ARD. The first unused character called Blaster Tech in the files.
My guess is they wanted to do like some multiplayer shit. Immediately, my brain goes to multiplayer shit whenever there's like characters that are cut from a game or whatever. I'm like, oh, they wanted to have like multiplayer something. That's always my brain goes to that because everything wants to have some weird multiplayer component. And of course, we had that Crash Rumble game, which I heard was not great. And also, sadly, Toys for Bob seems like they're pretty much gone.
Appears to be a hair with a vacuum thing and apparently has this green glowing ability. There's also Bruiser Undead, who appears to be an undead ice hockey player with freeze powers, and Wrangler Fire, a warrior on a crazy Firefox looking thing.
Okay.
The file names of these
I don't know if
characters have made some believe they belong in the Skylanders
Yeah, I was gonna say very Skylanders-ish.
universe, which would make sense considering the series is made by the same developers as Crash and runs on the same engine. Weirdly though, there also exist separate red and blue models for all of these characters, which possibly suggests a cut multiplayer feature. ARD
What'd I say?
tweeted about this discovery, which attracted the attention of
Never
Davey
heard of this before. Immediately my brain went to multiplayer thing.
Phillips, former concept artist for Vicarious Visions, who said these look familiar, and shared some
Yeah.
early concept art for the characters along with the hashtag Crash Bandicoot, but refused to clarify more,
Okay.
further confusing what these characters were intended to be used for. Even stranger, none of these characters are able to interact with most of the game, which would further suggest they were intended to be used for something else, except for one character, Bruiser Undead, who can use his ice ability to freeze the hippos. Well, that's something, I guess. ARD explored the data.
I hope they were just like, wait, hold on. We're making a Crash remake. What the fuck are we doing? And they just cut them all out. I hope they just they realized that like, what are we doing? No, what?
Further and found a file called Character Listing, which listed the unused characters as well as a new character template Legacy, which turned out to be this untextured dude who has an attack
yeah,
that's
bro.
just doing this.
He's
I hope
made
this
out
one
of
was never
comb.
intended for the final game. This guy
That's
was
very
in any
much-
way supposed to face off with these other characters. I'm not confident
That's
he would have
pretty good.
lasted very long. Bully.
He's pretty good. All right, here we go. Here's Bully. That'd be my attack.
Thanks to Nathan NS for submitting this discovery to the
shitter,
oddheader
yeah.
Discord. Bully released in 2006 as a PlayStation 2 exclusive, becoming controversial as politicians spread
For
panic
about a year until it came to 360, but
the
yeah.
game encouraging children to become bullies, even though the game is actually about defending yourself against bullies. However, bully modder and YouTuber the Nathan NS found something in the scholarship edition of the game.
See, that's why rumors sometimes I'm so sick of rumors. You know, rumors and leaks and shit. First of all, most time rumors aren't even true. And when they end up being true, then people are like, "Wow, I guess that rumor was true. I'm going to believe all rumors now." I'm like, you know how many rumors come out for anything? You know how many times have we heard that there's going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 coming out this year? There's like a million rumors, and people will believe any of them, even if they've been burned a million times before. But that was a rumor back in the day. Like, yeah, you get to fucking kill teachers and stuff. I'm like, what? Even as a youngin', I was like 14, 15. I was like, they don't make any fucking sense. They would never make a game like that. Like Manhunt, that makes sense. That's the whole premise of that game. It's rated M, and the whole game is about murdering people that are trying to murder you. Bully having options where you can murder your own teachers. There's no way. There's no way in hell.
That definitely would have schooly modder and YouTuber the Nathan NS found something in the scholarship edition of the game that definitely would have scared parents who were shocked by a game about confronting bullies in the schoolyard. The scholarship edition released in 2008 remastered Bully for the Xbox 360, Wii, and Windows, adding tons of new
that's right. I forgot I was on Wii also. Okay, so it's 2 years later.
New content like missions, characters, and minigames. In the art class minigame, players must move their pencil around the screen while avoiding enemies to reveal a sketch.
Yeah, of the teacher being sexy, which is a little weird. I want to say, what is this based on? This fucking game, like this right here, where you cut pieces off. I used to play that all the time on like this like bootleg fucking like, you know, those plug and play game controller things where it's like a controller you plug in your TV and you play a bunch of games. I used to play one that was like Penguins. I think it was just that might have been the original game, but I used to play it all the time.
The end, which for some reason features your art teacher in progressively seductive poses. While the enemies encountered are normally scissors and erasers, Nathan NS was modding the game when they found
That's fine.
What the
Nathan
found that a creepy moon face appeared at random, which they say eventually despawns and then respawns again. It's unknown why this is here and what this creepy face's original intent was in the game.
So they make a Majora's Mask fucking
the
remake?
creepy moon from Majora's Mask just really wanted to check out the art.
I beat you to it.
South Park, the fractured but whole. Thanks to XX Benny Boy Gamer.
It's like butthole. It's like you're the place where shit comes out.
This discovery on oddheader.com. South Park, the fractured but whole. Oh, I get it. Is an RPG based on the Comedy Central animated series released on Windows and consoles in 2017. The game follows the characters as they split into two rival superhero factions and was well received by players for its tactical combat system, which includes interesting.
I heard it was good, just not as good as Stick of Truth.
Mechanics such as manipulating time with your farts, which can also be used to access new areas. However, one area in the game cannot be accessed even by ripping ass, as Household Warrior discovers secret volume series cabin seen the Bring the Crunch DLC. Normally, the cabin is boarded up, and we never access it at any point in the DLC, but Household Warrior managed to uncover an unfinished cutscene in the data of the game that suggests this wasn't always the case. In the scene, two new camp counselors claim they were wrestling with their clothes off when they got stuck in these saw-like traps that will drop blades on them if they move.
Oh, no.
Household Warrior also found concept art in the data that shows the counselors tied to different traps than in the cutscene, and the messages on the wall imply players would have had to choose which one to save. However, a trap by the door shows that whoever escaped wouldn't have lived for long. Voice lines for this cutscene found
That's great. That's funny.
Later seem to confirm this fate, with the counselors revealing their true feelings for each other as they perish. Household Warrior eventually managed to hack their way
Come on, how come that was in there? That was
into the cabin, finally revealing what it looks like on the inside 6 years after the game's release. Inside the cabin, we can see the final version looks nothing like the concept art, and instead it looks like the counselors were both killed by the knife trap. Kind of creepy. As well as, who the hell is this? No idea why there's a dead person in a hazmat suit here, but no.
Like a piece of something stuck.
In South Park, I'd imagine it had something to do with the fart mechanic. Star Wars, Jedi Survivor. Thanks to Shadow Reaper for some.
God, what a good game. Fuck. Even with its really bad release, like with the glitches and all that and frame rate issues and crashes. Like I waited a few weeks until it wasn't fully fixed, but it was fixed enough to finish it. It was such a good game. Like if it ran well when it first came out, people would be talking about this game way more.
In this discovery on the oddheader Discord, Jedi Survivor released in 2023 as a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. The game was developed by Respawn Entertainment, also known for Titanfall, Apex Legends, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. And
I totally forgot about that.
A mysterious unannounced game, as Shadow Reaper found in the data of Jedi Survivor. In the file, Shadow Reaper found many
Jedi Survivor 3
used assets from Fallen
Jedi 3
Order, as well as a folder labeled Z Do Not Ship. Well, it's a little late for that. The folder contains assets from Survivor, as well as a completely different game that doesn't look like it belongs in the Star Wars universe at all, called Killing Frost. Not much is known about Killing Frost, except that it includes mechanics for a flashlight, rope zip lines, and something called a heat sword, which if you ask me, kind of sounds like
a heat sword.
A store brand lightsaber. Further,
it sounds like the one that was in Rebel Moon.
Confusing why these Killing Frost assets were found in the folder alongside assets for Survivor. Shadow Reaper also found assets for a radio tower, a gas station, and an office, as well as evidence that Killing Frost runs on Unreal Engine 4.11, the same engine that most Respawn games run on. However, 4.11 is an older version released in 2016, meaning Killing Frost could have been in development way earlier than Survivor.
Okay.
Looking at Respawn Entertainment's upcoming projects, we can see they have 4 unnamed games, 3 of which are Star
Untitled game by Steve Fukuda.
Wars titles, and the other being a new
They have a strategy game? They have a first-person shooter also? Oh, okay. I had no idea. Damn, they're doing 3 Star Wars things? Huh. And now motherfucking one of them is Titanfall 3. That's crazy. Or maybe the first-person shooter for Star Wars will just be Titanfall. Just do it. I don't care.
Titanfall director Steve Fukuda. The Killing Frost assets don't seem to clearly belong to any of these games, meaning Shadow Reaper may have uncovered an abandoned or canceled game that was truly never meant to be found. While the inclusion of a heat sword certainly makes it look like it could be one of those Star Wars games. I'm not sure.
I want to say, was Bodhi voiced by the guy that does the voice of like Chris Redfield and who what's his name, Carlos in Resident Evil 3? Well, Chris Redfield in Village. I want to say it was. I looked it up. I was like, oh, that's the same guy.
I've ever seen a Star Wars featuring a day in the office or a pit stop at a gas station, which perhaps
sounds like a Stanley Parable except with Star Wars.
Suggests it's a scrap title or some other proto content for what eventually became Jedi Survivor. Otherwise, it may be the Steve Fukuda game with the unannounced name. In which case, I guess we now know it's called Killing Frost. Which I'm correct on that, Steve. I'm sorry. Please don't be angry. And thanks again to World of Tanks for sponsoring
You
this
motherfucker!
Video. What I love about World of Tanks is its commitment to ultra realism and historical accuracy, while delivering non-stop explosive combat with high quality and smooth gameplay.
You leaked my game, you son of a bitch!
Link down below to receive 250k credits.
Fukuda
Matata. Cromwell B. In 7 days premium access as well as 3 rental tanks for 10 battles each, which include a Tiger 131 Tier 6 German heavy tank, T-78 Tier 6 American tank destroyer, and the Type 64 Tier 6 Chinese premium light tank. Only available to new players who register through the Wargaming portal. Existing players can also receive 3 days premium access, the Bargain 2D style camouflage, a 7-day rental of the premium tank Centurion Mark 5/1 RACCO, or 100k credit compensation if you already had a tank in your garage.
What are you even saying?
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please subscribe.
Enjoy it.
And if you know of
I
more
did
content
enjoy
in
it.
video games,
You know what? You did a good job.
Submit through
Good fan art.
Come join the Discord and give me a shout through Reddit or X. Shout out to Angel the Fox, Ash Photography, Bitwith27, Black EV50, Chad Biscuits, Ed Moffat, Eddie Toxpin the Bleach Primin, Flex, Kieran Bolton, The Meatly, Phoenix157, Rackman22, Red Team Medic, Riley F,
7 video games with mysterious connections to cults.
Select, Starcore 2, Terran Stock, and Towerizer for their Patreon support. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right. I'm staying tuned. Something else gonna happen? Stay tuned. What's this cat's face? Oh. Hello?